Well, it's February 2022. Happy New Year. My hair is short because I'm playing one of the patients in a local production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Anyway, I'm back in my buddy Larry's pool house by his Pentair variable speed pool pump. And the last video I did in November was doing the wiring to install this thing. And that has proven to be my least popular video ever. And I couldn't figure out why because, you know, usually this stuff at least gets a few hundred views. But now after talking to Larry this last week, I realized that most people can't get a hold of these pool pumps because they can only be installed by pool professionals. And of course with water and electricity, that's the idea is to keep you safe. But really, like most things in America, it's just rent-seeking behavior to protect a trade, you know, because this really isn't that hard. And a lot of, reasonably handy home people could probably do it if they were careful. But oh well, that's fine. So this is going to be a short video because no one cares about this, but I wanted to finish it up because in the last video I said I would come back when things were plumbed up and we were trying to get it working. Of course, that was back in November, and then the holidays came, and then Omicron, and then the fact that all the skilled trades, people who actually know what they're doing, are all busy doing stuff, so they couldn't get a professional out here to do it. So what was going on just a couple of weeks ago, I was watching some other electrical channel on YouTube with, you know, actual licensed electricians who know what they're talking about, and they were remarking on how motors are a whole different thing. And sizing for motors is a little strange because you wind up in these situations where you have great big breakers and tiny little wire. Air conditioners are similar. And I had just sized this by going, oh, it says, you know, 16 amps running. You rate that 80% for continuous duty, and you need a 20 amp breaker. And that's what I put in. And I put in number 12 wire because, with Romex and the 60-degree column, you know, because Romex is wrapped with insulation, so it stays warmer and it's near a second conductor, the neutral. You have to use number 12 wire for 20, like in a house. So I did it that way, which turns out is probably it works, but it turns out it's kind of a naive way to do it. So I became finally familiar with Section 430 in the National Electrical Code, which is all about motors and how to figure that stuff out. And the basic idea is that you have to size the breaker for with a regular motor, you have to size the breaker for a huge inrush current because the wiring just appears as a dead short to the circuit at first, and then once it starts rotating, it develops this back electromagnetic force and becomes a complex impedance, and then the current actually goes down as the motor starts to do its work. So you need the breaker just to provide short circuit protection from a mammoth, you know, inrush of current and ground fault protection. And then you need some other device to provide the protection in the situation where the motor is just overloaded, you know, a little bit for a long time. And for that, in this case, we rely on the electronic and thermal protection inside the pump. So I did all the calculations on that, and it turns out the neck seemed to indicate you need like a 40 amp breaker for the inrush current, and I could actually get away with number 14 THHN wire individual conductors because you can rate those for current on the 70-degree scale, which lets you have more amperage. You have 25 amps on number 14 because the THHN is, you know, in free air. If you have 70-degree rated terminals on each end to connect to and all that stuff. So then I got all spooked, and I wrote my buddy Larry. I said, I may have screwed up. I maybe should have done that. But I knew that no one, when they install pool pumps, everyone uses a 20 amp circuit. That's just what they do. I asked on the electricians forum on Reddit what the discrepancy, and everyone said, "Oh, you're stupid. The net just provides well, I always think of it as providing a minimum. You know, use this wire and no smaller. But the circuit breaker thing is providing a maximum, and that threw me a little bit. It turns out you can use a smaller situation if it'll work with wire, if it'll work with the device. So I was still worried enough about it. I called Pentair up and asked, and they said, no, it's a 20 amp breaker. Don't sweat it, kid. So that's manufacturer approval, and that's what I had done. So I didn't wind up changing anything. But then I said, gee, Larry, you know, the thing hasn't. I want to see it work. So let me come up and I'll help you plumb it. So we cut the old one out and pushed it aside, and then we round up all the parts and fittings for this. Now this is a 2.5-inch intake and a 2-inch outflow, and of course Pentair, because it's only supposed to be installed by professionals, doesn't tell you the size of these fittings on the pump, which turned out to be 2-inch, and I actually measured and everything and got 2.5-inch fittings, because I thought it's this is a 4 horsepower motor, it's going to suck water in like crazy, but in the end this is only 2. So I had to take some stuff back, and then, my goodness, if you want to get 2.5-inch pipe in February 2022, you're in a world of pain, because it's a weird item. Places like Ace Hardware jump from 2 inches to 3 inches, so the 2.5 is strange to begin with, and now with the pandemic, no one is cutting long lengths of pipe to length. Now you can get it on eBay for twice what it should cost shipped to you. We fortunately have a sprinkler and pipe house in town, and they had it, but they wouldn't sell me anything less than 10 feet. And of course here we only need, you can see this, we only need a little hunk of whatever, 2 feet here, less for this. So we wound up buying a full stick, a 10-foot stick. They come in 20-foot lengths, and they cut it in half for like $39 was to get this thing. And I guess my Larry can now sell it on eBay himself at twice what we paid for it and recoup some of the money if he wants to. The nice thing about the sprinkler place was they also had this fancy adapter that goes from a 2-inch National Pipe thread to a 2.5-inch fitting for the PVC, so that let us connect this intake up nicely without a lot of adapters, because the old one had a lot of strange adapters to reduce to the size. The other pump was smaller and sat higher, and so I went ahead and got this big paver. It's like 2 feet by 2 feet from the local landscaping place. I thought we were going to use that as an equipment pad, and we stuck it under here and lined it up, but it just didn't work. It was just off like a 1/4 inch, and of course don't want to put any flexible, there's no flexible connectors that I'm aware of that you can put in here, or that you'd want to put in here anyway. So in the end we wound up not using that paver, because it was like 2 inches thick, plus had this little decorative lip on the top that took us out like a 1/4 inch, and it was like, Equipment pads can be like $50 or $100, so they're a lot more money, and we didn't want to do that for something we weren't sure worked. So in the end, we put this right on the slab and cut this and lowered it, and then fit all this stuff. And of course I did it all with metric measurements. If you don't use metric for something like this, get on board, man. It is so easy, because you go, oh, this fitting has 4 centimeters of inside, and this one has 3 centimeters of inside, and the distance between these two is, 80 centimeters, and you just add all those numbers up and you get the length of pipe you should cut. It makes it real easy, much easier than working in our ridiculous English units. But that said, we went ahead and put it on the floor, cut thing and fit everything. This took 5 or 6 hours of fiddling, because we're real slow and don't know what we're doing. And then we put some 5/8 inch, 3.5 inch long expansion anchors into the slab to bolt this thing down. So now we're just about ready to connect the juice up to this thing. If you'll remember, back in November I left this this way, which is all very pretty. Of course, the problem is there's a threaded fitting back here, and I've got to screw this thing into the connection box here. So I'm going to have to pull these wires back out to spin this back on, and then put it back on the flexible conduit here. And then of course there's this bonding wire that also bonds the case of this. Well, a lot of this is plastic. One more thing before we try to turn this thing on. I'll wire this. I won't show you the wiring because it's very simple, and obviously no one cares, because no one can get these pool pumps. What was I going to say? One more thing I was going to say. Hang on. Oh, I remember. The question still outstanding is why can you use a 20 amp breaker with this thing when the neck uses the big thing? And I don't know how it is with a regular motor and all that stuff, but this stuff has so much electronics in it. I'm betting that they have a switching power supply circuitry in here that can actually limit the inrush current, and that's part of the reason. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they use that switching technology to synthesize a three-phase drive current for the actual motor. And of course, this thing's all computer controlled and variable speed and saves a lot of money because it runs real slow most of the time if you program it that way. Except when it's trying to prime, it goes through this priming cycle, which we'll talk about a little bit in a second. And then once it's going, though, it can slow way down and just you know, not use a lot of juice. In fact, in California, they're legally required now. Larry got this thing from a pool distributor friend of his. He says it cost, what did he say? It was like $1,600, and he got usually $19. He got a discount, and we spent another $200 or $300 on you know, $150 on the circuit breaker, and you know, another $100 on wire and stuff, and then this pipe and all this junk we're in for another $100 or so. So, you know, added up, it's 16, 17, 18, you know, $1,900, $2,000 for this whole mess, I guess. All right, so let me wire this up, and then we'll try to fire it up and see if it leaks, and then that'll just be the end of this video that no one wants to see. So now we're on the camera mic. Sorry, I'm about to throw the circuit breaker. I hope just to see this light up and it won't come on, because I think you actually have to push one of these program buttons or the start-stop button to actually make it go. So let's see if it lights up. Go flip the breaker. Well, that's a good sign. So now we have to fill the basket with water and try to prime it. And I'm just praying to God it doesn't leak, because if anything leaks, especially these threaded fittings, we're in a world of pain and hurt. We have to just break it all down again. So first we're going to open the bucket up here and stick a hose in it to fill it up.
Ready?
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna get.
Here's Larry with his hose.
Okay, let's.
I told him I didn't really need to see his hose.
Thank you, Ward.
Yeah.
Oh, the light's so much helpful.
Yeah, it's not that helpful, but anyway.
This may take a little while. You may want to edit this down.
I will probably. It's exciting, isn't it?
Sure is. It's all going somewhere, but I assume only into the pump.
It's taking a lot of water. I guess it's filling everything that's at this level.
Fill up and then go in there.
It's gonna fill the pool.
Might do that.
Well, that might be good because it's been sitting for months and months.
Oh my God, water speeders are on there.
Yeah, I already fished a bunch out. I hadn't seen them. Oh God. Maybe he's eating one.
It's not up to the inflow pipe yet, so the pump is capacious. It's slowly filling up though. And then it's gonna fill your inflow pipe.
Yes, that inflow
and down
pipe.
to the water level.
There we go. Nice audio.
Is it leaking yet?
No. No leaking. It's not going to leak.
Well, it's still going. It's been 6-7 minutes, but we're filling all the pipes around the pool because the thing hasn't run for the better part of a year. So this has been going for 10 minutes easy. It's making all kinds of weird noises like it's almost finished. We got the hose on full here. So any second now, it's going to flood me and get me all wet. So we let it run for about 15 minutes, and we weren't gaining on it. It was up to here. So we turned it off, and it sunk. So we're going to put the lid on it to make a vacuum, and then hope the pump can take this bubble of air out at the top. So we don't want it to leak, and we don't want the circuit breaker to blow. Apparently these motors make so much high frequency noise they blow GFCI breakers, but Pentair sells a specially branded breaker that maybe has a slower delay, but they're just rebranded Siemens breakers, and we're using Siemens breakers, so we don't expect that to be that problem. Anyway, once we get the power ring on here, we'll push the button and let it go through its priming cycle. I think there may be like a 20-second delay before it starts, and then it revs up to its maximum RPMs, which is 3,500 or something, 338, and tries to suck air through for a minute or two. And once it thinks there's enough water, it goes into regular pump mode. Otherwise, it waits and tries again. So All right, Larry, are you ready to push the
Where do we go to?
I think we just push the start-stop button there, I think, and pray to God. And then I think there's a delay. Let's see what it says.
Schedule.
Yeah.
Is it waiting for?
Maybe. Do we push program 1? No. Might have to.
Might have to read the manual.
Might have to push program 1 here, but I was hoping it would just go prime. Sure. Let's see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? That's nice.
There we go. I feel air. Oh, that's 3450.
He's priming. He's trying to prime.
It's getting water. It's working. Look. See that?
Uh-oh. What's leaking? It's not my plumbing that's leaking. We're gonna kill her. Okay, so we had leakage far away from our new plumbing, and Larry thinks there's an old chlorinator that was removed from here. And so it's spewing out where the chlorinator was attached with this hose in your hand there, Larry.
We want to close that off. This one looks broken.
Uh-oh. So you're gonna
this is old technology.
You're gonna use whatever you can. Get this. This
this
is like 80s stuff.
I got some screwdrivers, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, let me,
all right, so we're gonna try to plug this hole. Oh, so I guess that's the chlorinator attachment. He removed the chlorinator some time ago. I haven't been using it, and that's where water's spewing out. So we're trying to figure out how to plug that up.
This one. All right. So we put that there. The other is down low.
Oh, there was an in and an out.
There's two. Yeah, these were the leads. When I was hoping I could just take the hose and snap it back on,
but no.
But no. So second one, right? What sprays?
All right, try 2. We're gonna see if anything sprays here. Let's see.
Pump was working nice. Yeah, turn it off.
It's quiet. Sounds like a jet aircraft. Oh, baby. No. No, it's starting. It's getting it now. Yeah, here it comes. Uh-oh.
What a weird. Look at that. Where that is, can you see that? It's, I mean, the lowest.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So we're reverting back to the gaffer taped hose,
Which is plugged on the other end. And that's going to seal this off.
At 3,800 RPM or whatever. Yeah, right.
Let's try 3.
Prolong the magic.
And here comes the water. Yeah, it's just dripping from the valve housing.
Yeah, there's a screw missing there.
So we can't run it like that. So there's a screw missing in the...
Right there, that's weird. Yeah.
Ooh, I think it's primed. And it's primed
Now?
and it's slowing down to 750. And you're running.
Is it really running? It should be full there.
Well, maybe it finished maybe it's still in the priming cycle. It says running speed 1, so I think you're using 37 watts.
Ooh, I like that. I didn't know to block this way.
I think you're primed.
Maybe this is slow speed because it's pumped right out.
It is. We can go faster. We'll go faster. $1,500. Faster. All right. $2,350. Using 820 watts.
So here's another fun thing we want to do. This always looks good. Take the air out of the tank.
Oh.
Although,
This is the sand filter. You're going to bleed the sand filter?
hold on a second. It's getting me.
It stopped. It stopped dripping.
Hold on.
Oh, it's still dripping though. Should we stop?
Yeah, stop.
Oh my goodness.
There we go.
Now what you're
I
sending?
set it back to filter. It was somehow on recirculate, which was just sending water out to the pool.
So it's putting it through the big sand
Now it's
filter,
gonna
which
put
is
it
this
through the
big
sand
black
filter.
thing.
All right.
I'm gonna start again.
Turn it on again.
Oh my God! All right.
Look at all the exciting stuff building up in our trap.
Oh, there's already a lot of crap. Well, pool's been
It's
crappy
okay. It's been a while.
for a long time. Let's see if he gets going here. Well, I got to pick a program, so
Go back to 1.
I'll go slow again. And he went. He's priming. He tells you. The display tells you.
Hear it? Hear the magic?
And now he's running.
Okay.
And only 45 watts, so that's like nothing. So you ready to go fast?
Yeah.
We'll go up to 3.
Okay.
Let him ramp up.
Do that. Okay. What we need to do, there's probably a lot of air.
Oh, I see water coming out the bottom of the ring there a little bit. Everything's a little loose.
Maybe,
we got a little water at the bottom of the sand filter. Been dry a long time. He's gonna let that bleed the air out.
Should be a lot of air in
Here, I'll get your face. People like to see you,
here.
Larry.
Happy me.
Yeah, bleeding his sand filter on a February day in a California fall spring. Okay.
All the leaves are green. The sky is blue. Okay.
Well,
Why? This is going to be world.
except for your big valve leaking there, but it's just dripping.
It's just dripping, and seeing the screw missing, which is kind of odd. Tighten those up. Put one more in there.
Chip. Want to go to max?
How high is it?
2350. 744 watts. Let's see what she can do. Let's see if we can blow the circuit breaker. Here we go. 3110.
Whoa.
17 watts. 1700 watts. It's doing some work. Up. And we're leaking here. God damn it.
Okay, we'll bring the pressure down. Seems that we might be fine at 2350.
Yeah, this thing's leaking. God damn it. God fucking damn it. So we got a leak here at high pressure. There's Teflon tape on this, and it's hand tight and then like a turn with a wrench. I don't know if it'll crud up and get better, but this is very disappointing because it probably needs to be tightened, and to tighten it, you got to cut it. Ah, man. I'm a terrible plumber, even though my Add a Hose Bib video has been very popular. But I'm not as bad as the stuff over here. Another problem solved, for some values of solved, for a little while till we make this better.
Okay. So my
Oh, look at the pool sweep just spewing algae out the back. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, you keep hanging up.
So the skimmer can pick it up.
So you know how this works?
What-
There's a valve there that slowly rotates to a jet that pulls it away. But it's kind of crusty. Let's just take it to the other end of the pool. There it is, jetting its way.
Oh, I see. There's the pool sweep jetting. Yeah. I'm gonna take it to the big blooms on the other end. And the sweep's kicking up the crap, man. It's all going into the filter. You're gonna have to flush your filter.
That's true.
Shock and awe.
So,
How long do you have to run this thing?
well, we're kind of setting a pool on that.
Well, we've got some slow leaks and some things to work out, but nothing terribly major. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.